doing the interview, and there was a lot of different things going on that weekend too. And I said it during the interview. That was when the tornadoes had hit. I believe it was Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and there was just devastation down there. Well, at the time, my mother, who was a big animal rescue advocate, she was actually there. She missed very few races, and it happened to be Mother's Day as well. And it just, she had a huge part of my career. And then I, at the time, was not married, but my now wife was here with me as well. And, coming back even today, thinking about the memories, and we went and did a picture in Victory Lane with all the former winners that are either active or as many of them that are here that aren't active. And like my kids didn't know any of that stuff, and they're looking at the trophy and like, Dad, your face is on the trophy. I'm like, guys, well, that's the same one that's at the house that has my face on it also. And I'm like, you do know that, right? And seeing it click in their brains, they're actually finally getting a little bit of a grasp of what Dad did before the TV thing, because they just see the TV thing and they think, oh, Dad just talks about race cars on TV. They don't know any different that there was other things going on. So this place will forever hold a special, place in my heart, this racetrack. And, we actually spend a lot of our time about an hour and a half north of here now, ironically enough, real close to Rockingham in the Pinehurst area. So, like, for me, the Sandhills, of whether it's North Carolina or South Carolina, I love the area and the region anyway, so much so that I've spent half my time living there.
Awesome. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
When you won that race, how much of the Busch Harvick thing did you notice, or was it like days later you're like, oh, they were getting into it?
It was days later. Yeah, I didn't realize it, and I'm trying to think, because that was kind of in the early years of X or Twitter or whatever we call it now. So I didn't even really notice it driving home. And, by the time we left the media center that night, that was a really long race, too. If I remember correct, I think we had a lot of cautions early on that kind of broke up the flow of the race. And that race seemed like it took longer than normal. This is always a long race, and, arguably the longest race of the year. But we drove home, and the next day, I don't remember when I got up the next day, we didn't get home till like 3 a.m, just between media center and trying to see some of the guys before we all left. They went to Colorado. I was coming back to North Carolina, and when we got home, don't think I had a true grasp on what had happened. Maybe the next morning somebody sent me a video of it or something like that, and I'm like, oh wow, they were going at it pretty good. And I got asked about it later on that day in an interview or something I was doing, and by then I had seen it, and I was like, yeah, they can fight all they want. I'm just happy I won the race. Like and joke about it now, right? It was one of those things to where there was a lot going on that night, and for whatever reason, every time we come to Darlington, I feel like we leave a race at Darlington, and we always just think, man, there was a lot going on. Even the spring race this year, how that race came down to the wire, and it looks like Blaney's going to win it, and then next thing you know, we get a late race caution, and everything changes. And I just, for whatever reason, this track induces that to happening. And it just, tonight, when we leave here tonight, and after the winter's done in the media center and everybody, heads to their hotel or to their flights or wherever everyone's got to go back home, I will almost guarantee that there's going to be more storylines than can be gotten through an entire week. You got the playoffs, you got, such a deep field. It's just, Darlington does that. Excuse me.
Does it make you sad at all that Furniture Row group is not around anymore? I mean, obviously they achieved the pinnacle, right, after you were gone, but does it make you sad at all to not see them?
It does, and when it comes to Furniture Row, obviously I was, when I was there, I lived in Colorado, was really entrenched within the team, and felt like we were really growing something that could be special, and you just never know, right? There's different things that happen over the years, the ebbs and flows of why an organization has a good year or a bad year or whatever may take place. And the one thing that I can say is even after I was done there, I was still very close with all the guys out there, and to this day very close. There's a number of them in the garage here. I've seen a bunch of them today, and it was just so unique, right? And everybody said you couldn't do it that way, and Barney was hell-bent to do it that way. And I think what makes me sad more than anything is, Barney's passion for the sport and why he got into it, and what he loves so much. And I know what NASCAR meant to him. And that's what makes me sad, is just to think, oh, man, I can't walk through the garage and see Barney, and I can't, that car coming out of Colorado, there it was really weird because it was the only team that was not based in North Carolina at the time, and whether it was when I was in it or even after I was in it. I still lived out there after had moved on to junior motorsports, and for another, I don't know, 3 or 4 years after, and the community there really treated it like it was their team. The local news would talk about the race, but they would talk about it after they talked about Furniture Row and how Denver's team did, and I just thought that there was a really cool formula that would it work on a larger level for multiple teams? No, I don't know that would work just because of the additional cost that was a part of that in terms of getting the right people in the right places, but it was very special, and I'm never going to say that we won't see it again. A team that kind of starts up somewhere else and goes on to have that kind of success, but it'll be very difficult.
Thank you.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Frontstretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Frontstretch fans can use promo code Frontstretch to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay rewarded.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.